We're going to create our backend using Django REST framework. So I'm going to create a project using file, new project, and here I call it post backend, something like that. And then I'm going to create a virtual environment, and I will call it bn_post, and I think that's it. So create. I'm going to create it in a new window. So first thing first, we're going to install some packages in order to be able to use Django and Django REST framework. So pip install Django would be the first thing we're going to need. Okay, it's going to take a few seconds usually. Okay, so next one would be pip install Django REST framework. All right, so as we move on, we're going to create and install more packages, but for the moment, I think these two are going to be enough. So in this folder, we do have nothing but the environment, virtual environment that we already created. So I'm going to create a new project right now using Django admin start project, and I will call it maybe post project, something like that. Okay, so now a folder has been created for me. Actually, I would rather this manage to be outside of this folder. Reason why is that this manage is the file that we're going to call a lot, and most of our Django files and Django commands would be run based off this manage.py file. So let me delete this one and we run this one using space and dot. Now we will see that our manage is over here, right? Okay, cool. So let's go over these quickly. Settings is basically the settings that we do have for Django project and Django app. A lot of settings are here. So if I go through them, there are different fields, and we're going to talk about a few of them throughout these tutorials. But for the moment, just one of the important ones is, for instance, database. And database, which is the default and database, we're going to use SQLite, but we're going to change it to PostgreSQL in a moment. The other one is install apps. So again, Control F12, install apps. It'll bring me over here. So any app that we're going to create, we need to add them manually over here. So this is something that we need to bear in mind. Okay, so let's go ahead and sync our project, whatever has been built so far, to database, which is for the moment SQLite, right? So what we need to do is to go ahead and type in Python and manage.py and migrate. So this manage.py is actually the same file over here, right? So when I click on this, it will gonna sync my project and all the fields available in the project to the database. And you might think that we don't have any field in any properties. The thing is that actually Django by default has the user name fields and built in the project that we already created. So those has been already migrated to the project. So let's start up. What we can do, we can here say run server. If I click on this one, this brings me into this page, tells me basically my setup is okay. One thing that I want to tell you is basically if I go to the URL, it tells me basically that I should have something like /admin in my URL, right? So admin over here, and it actually works. So we have something like admin over here, but we don't have any username and password to connect to that and to access that. So what we can do is to stop the server using Control-C. Now I can go ahead over here and create super user. So what I can say is I can provide a username and password. So my email would be admin@gmail.com, and my password would be 123, and it bugs me that basically the password is pretty common, all numeric. Is that okay with you? Yes, for the moment. Now that super user has been created. So if I run server again, or if I just go ahead here and refresh it, sorry, I have to run server here, and then I'm gonna go here and refresh it. So I will be able to actually access my admin. And this admin right out of the box is providing me with a lot of functionalities. So if I go over here, the user, I already see the user that has been created. And the models that we're going to build, and the more we're going to build and expand our project, we will be able to hook up those models into this admin in order to manage it. For the moment, let's keep it as simple as it is. And now we are going to change our database to PostgreSQL. So once you install the PostgreSQL, you will come up with some user and password. And basically changing SQLite to PostgreSQL is pretty simple. I already show you where are the settings. So the settings would be here. The only thing that you need to provide over here is same setting that you already have in when you install your PostgreSQL. So we may need to type them in, and that would be pretty much it. So let's type them in over here, and what we can do, we can say our Django database backend, and here we'll provide PostgreSQL. And the name would be, all right, so here we need to provide the name for our database, right? So I'll provide it later, just keep it as is for now. So here, sorry, here, okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna provide here is actually name, and then would be user, which in my case is Postgres, and then I need password as well. So password, and that would be again a field in my dictionary. So, and then my host, it would be 127.0.0.1, and you should have same settings or similar settings depending on the installation that you followed. And the port that I've used is 5432. Okay, so now we need the database and also the password. So the password would be unique to you again. And the database, let's go ahead and create a database. So I'll fire up my djadmin. So let's wait for that to come up. Okay. So here we have different data set that I've created for testing purposes. Here I will go ahead and create database, and I just call it, let's say, postdb. So I would have my postdb here now created for me, there. And the tables that should be there are here, which obviously would be empty. So nothing's there. Now let's put that name back there here. PostDB. And then in order to be able to interact with the PostgreSQL, we need another package to be installed. So let's go ahead and install that. So I'm gonna Control-C break this one and pip install PSYCOPG2. Okay, successfully installed. And let me just move it over here to enter my password. All right, so now that is pretty much it. So remember that we need to sync this with our database, and our database is new. So even the user that we created won't be useful here. And again, I'm gonna show you the database and the tables, that no tables are available here. But now let's do go ahead and migrate. So migrate. All right, and run server. Before running server, let's go over here and confirm that the table is populated. So there we go. We have things created for us here. Now I can go to the authorized users over here. Now let's make a query over there. So select everything from auth user and hit F5. So nothing's there. Let's go ahead and create a super user. So okay, create super user admin admin@gmail.com and 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 and yes. All right, so now let's go ahead and confirm that this has been actually populated. Okay, there we go. That has been added there. And now our setting and setups are ready to move on and create some fields and some apps for this project.